If a speaker has never done simultaneous translation, I think you have to do it at one point in your life because it changes the way that you deliver it. You think so much more about the diction that you use. You think so much more about the segmentation of your content. It's a great itch to scratch to be able to say, I did that, and the lessons that you'll be taught from it. Something I'd recommend none of you ever do is to do consecutive translation. I think it was Romania or Serbia. I had a gig about 2 years ago, a 2-hour keynote. And I found out the night before they couldn't afford simultaneous translation, which is where you just do your thing. 2 people in a booth are listening to it, translating it or interpret it into another language, goes in an earpiece to everybody in the audience. They couldn't afford the headsets and they couldn't afford the AV. This is the night before the event. So it's going to be consecutive translation into 2 separate languages. So we want to cut your 2 hours to 1 hour. And we'd like you to be able to say a line, for them to be able to say a line, for them to be able to say a line, for you to be able to say a line. And you should be able to get through your material in about an hour or so. And I think the audience will be okay with it. That's a car crash waiting to happen. Real rough ride. But what you learn very quickly, whether it's simultaneous or consecutive translation, is that your interpreters are part of your speech. Treat them like your team. You've got to get to know them before the event. You've got to take the time to be able to work through your slide deck with them to let them know where transitions are going to happen. You've got to let them know any nuances in word choices that you might reach for and what the interpretation of those might be. You might want to give them the framework of your stories as opposed to the framework of your content so they can reinterpret an analogy ahead of time so that the audience can get it. There's lots of work before the work when you're working in multiple languages. Many people miss.